My name's Flip and I'm the administrator for the Film Education Journal. I'm here today with my colleague Robert Monroe from Queen Margaret University, and we're delighted to be talking to Michael Daly. Michael is an English teacher at John Paul Academy, a secondary school in Glasgow in Scotland. He's the co-author of an article which is shortly being published in the 6th edition of the Film Education Journal. And as the article demonstrates, Michael is passionate about using film as a tool for learning both in and outside of the classroom. So Michael, thank you so much for joining us today and agreeing to share a lesson plan that you created with us, which is a resource around the book and the film Ready Player One. We'll be uploading this lesson plan onto the Film Education Journal website for educators to access. And this video is basically us taking the opportunity to talk through the lesson, how you teach it, and giving viewers some tips and ideas. So the first question is, it would be really interesting to get some background to this lesson plan. Were people studying Ready Player One, the book, at this time?
Well, we decided that within English we have the opportunity to do film and television as a text, and I'm really kind of big on using film to open up pathways to literature. I think film's a fantastic hook to get the pupils interested, and then once you've got that interest and enthusiasm, then you can branch out into the literature. So for Ready Player One, I started with the film. It's quite a dense book, so we were looking at the film, and then that was the focus for the critical essay, and then we were able to delve into sections of the book just to keep that momentum and that interest going. And I have to say that it worked really, really well. There's so much you can do when you incorporate film and use it alongside the text, and it was really fun to teach.
And I noticed in this lesson plan you highlight a particular scene in the film that you share as a YouTube clip. Why did you choose this particular?
I think it was really, really important to get the pupils to think of themselves. The fantastic thing about Ready Player One is that there's so much nostalgia and 80s pop culture all the way through it. So we looked at the clip where the character discusses the Oasis, this virtual reality where all of these pop culture references are in. And a lot of the culture references were really unique to, obviously, the author and things that he was passionate about as a child. So when we were constructing the Oasis, I showed them the clip so they understood it from the film's perspective. And then I constructed my own Oasis with things from my childhood and things that I was passionate about, who would be my avatar. So I think I picked RoboCop, classic. And then I had little things dotted around that just come from my childhood and are nostalgic for me. And then the pupils got to choose their own avatar, and they got to pull references from their own childhood, things that when they were adults and they look back, they would think fondly of these things. So it was really, really good to just get a bit of individuality from each kid. They all see the world very differently, different childhoods, different memories, and even kids that perhaps don't really talk to certain members of the class were able to really bond because of their shared love of Ben 10 or whatever it was. So they were able to kind of form these little, oh yeah, I remember that, and just to get them talking and just to find out a little bit more of each other. So just that clip was a really good foundation just to get them talking and thinking about their own worlds really and their own experiences. So that worked really, really well.
And do you feel, I'm just interested that you start out with the film before you enter the book. Do you feel analysing film clips changes their understanding of the book itself once you get to that?
I think so. So many of them, their minds are blown when you tell them like Jaws was a book first. You know, and I think once you use film as the hook, then once they're really, really interested in the film, then you can branch out into literature, and it's all about using film to make films that they love to engage with books that they've probably never heard of. And then you can discuss things like why do we make books into films? And then you can discuss the whole concept of ready-made audiences and things like that. And then you can analyse parts of the book and see how does that translate to the film. And you can delve into quite high level theory about the art of adaptation and what to put in, what to leave out, and some of the stuff that pupils come away with is really, really high level. And I also think that film is just, it's a little bit different to the book. The book, the pupils would feel that because I'm an English teacher, the book's kind of my world. Because if I was to say to them, oh, who's read Ready Player One? Probably none of them. So I would be standing at the front with my hand up by myself. But I think if you turn around and say, who's read the film, saw the film, more hands will shoot up. So instantly, I think with film, you just have this common ground where we're both teacher and pupil coming at it from a film lover's perspective. And it just changes the whole perception. It's like we're kind of in it together, and it's almost a level playing field. Like we're coming at it from a purely enjoyment point of view. And if unfortunately sometimes when you ask them if they read it at home and stuff, they'll say no. But I guarantee you they watch films at home. So it's just this instant connection between teacher and pupil that sometimes you don't get with literature. You can certainly build it with literature. I think your passion as the teacher for the book comes across and the pupils buy in. But I think film just has that instant connection. And then it's all about how do you use that to open up literature. Mm-hmm. That was a really long answer, sorry.
No. It's great. And definitely, I think one of the things in your article that I really like is you go into the detail about how when you talk to students about analysing a film and showing them how to do that, that transfers so beautifully to analysing written text. And it's almost like this eureka moment when the students get in, like, all right, I can do this. And it works beautifully for that as well. So no, that totally makes sense. You've also, you also run an after-school film club and you have for a number of years. How important do you think it is to find a balance between embedding film as part of the curriculum and also making an extracurricular space for film?
I think we went about it in a kind of different way, I suppose. When we started the extracurricular stuff, it was 8 years ago. So film perhaps didn't have as strong a foothold in the curriculum back then as it maybe does now. I'm certainly aware of more teachers teaching it and film becoming more and more mainstream. So when we started the extracurricular, it was just through into film, and it was all about just getting pupils together and providing a safe space where they could enjoy film, and just initially for the love of film, because we were just thinking, what about the kids that maybe don't want to do sports? Like, where is there a space for them? So we just started off really, really small. It was just a day after school, and they watched the film. It was purely for enjoyment. And then they would start writing their reviews on into film's website. And then we started opening it up to more having discussion and picking out parts of the film and really starting to kind of analyse and to get them thinking about film differently. And then it was all about just building on that. And we achieved an awful lot of success with our film club. And then it just seemed like a really organic progression to take it into the classroom. If they were engaging on that level with film, what could be done with it in the classroom? And it just kind of evolved, and now it's really much got a foothold in the classroom, and it doesn't seem to be going anywhere. It just seems to be growing from strength to strength. So I think extracurricular in the classroom should go hand in hand. If they can learn something extracurricular and then take that into the classroom, they're there after school because they want to be and they're interested and they're passionate. And I think we should, as teachers, be trying to capitalise on that passion and hone it and give it an educational outlet as well. So it just kind of goes hand in hand. We've been really, really lucky. We've been so well supported with into film, our head teacher, our head of English. Everything we've ever wanted to do with film has just been really encouraged and supported. So yeah, we're really lucky in that regard.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. And have you also run any practical filmmaking sessions in the school?
Yes. Again, it's just something that was the natural progression, I think, to learn about film. The best way to do it is to make film. I just think it's this practical experience that just really knits together the learning and the theory. So we've run various things from myself and Jacqueline Thomson, my colleague. We've run little kind of filmmaking workshops for the kids. But again, we've been really, really supported. So we've had quite a lot of external agencies come in to work with us over the years. And there's so many talented creative people out there that are willing to come out to the school to help. And I think it just carries a lot more weight that people are professional filmmakers, and they come out and what they say just seems to carry more weight than what I say. And it's like, you're the teacher, like stay in your box. We've got professionals out. So yeah, that's went really, really well. And we now do media at hire, so they have to make a film as part of their assignment. And we've had a lot of the kids since first year doing film club and studying film. So the progression with 5 years of that behind them now is really churning out some fantastic results when they need to do assignments and stuff. So yeah, it's been amazing. It's been a lot of fun to do. I really enjoy it. I think every time you do a workshop, you learn something new as well. So it's just going to be embedded in our practice now, and it's just something that we do all the time.
Yeah, it's fantastic seeing film, like, yeah, as you say, properly embedded at all levels in the school.
Yeah.
And I guess if an educator or anyone who's sort of watching this video thinks, oh, wow, I'd love to use film in the classroom, but just not really confident using it as a resource, I don't know where to start, what advice would you give to them?
I think talk to teachers. I think seek advice from other teachers that are perhaps at a different stage of their journey with film, and they can always share their experiences. And I think it's just professional dialogue is so important. And the way I would do it is, I don't think they should reinvent the wheel. There's so many resources out there that are already made that enable you to kind of find your feet and develop your confidence. Into film, I've got loads of great resources, and teachers are very willing to share resources. So if you could get a look at resources, and that kind of gives you the skeleton for how they go about teaching film. And then it's all about maybe taking the film that you want to teach and thinking, right, how does that work within that scheme of work? And yeah, I'm just a big champion of dialogue. I think teachers are always really happy to discuss what they're doing. And the minute you get educators in a room and they start bouncing ideas around, I think everybody learns. So that would probably be my main piece of advice, and get out there and just look at other people's resources, see what's out there, and the ideas will just start coming to you, and then just be brave, just go for it.
Yeah, perfect. Well, thank you so much, Michael. It's been great having
No
this chat. And as mentioned, we'll have your resource up on the website, so it should be next to this video as well. If anyone wants, thanks so much.
bother.